What's up, guys? Artillboy here. Today we're doing another video. Today we're taking a look at the K-Bar Zombie Kills collection, the Death Dagger. So, let's begin. Now, the Death Dagger is kind of more of a second piece, alongside with the Pestilence Chopper, and yes, pointing these two out because they are rather very common to find. That's very normal to see that. Alongside with the Eggtron Skeleton Knife. So, the sheath itself, made of nylon with a plastic insert, secured with two buttons here. Having a Velcro patch. Well, you actually was supposed to have a Velcro patch, but most majority of the ones I find does not came with it. The only one I had with the patch itself is from the Swabby, with also a little button inside to secure for the skeleton knife, a little pocket so you could put the extra parts inside of it, things like the handles and the paracord. There's actually, of course, the center of the piece right next to the second strap to the blade, to the sheath itself, is, of course, the Zombie Kills collection. The Z and a K on there, trademark. Of course, have multiple ways to carry around. One with a big normal, like, belt loop. 3 belt loops on from top, middle, and end, or bottom, with a molly webbing all around with these belt loops. Here is some paracord. Here is the optional black handles for the knife itself. Here are some extra screws if you lose some of these. And of course the skeleton knife right here. More for like little stuff, but not for like heavier stuff. I think good for like whittling, like carving or making feathers for the wood. Now to the Death Dagger itself. Now this version is an early version, one from 2011 to be exact. This one is 5003, so this is the number of the piece itself. And of course, Taiwan, that means it's made out of SK5 hype carbon steel. We got K-Bar right here, and also the ZK right here, with its trademark. Got a little, these pieces are all full tang, with a little hole in there for like things like paracord. And you could probably, and of course you can take off these screws for like an optional black handles, orange handles, or brown handles if you have like the Johnson Adventure line. So you could probably have a little jimping on right here. Now this is kind of much more for like a stabbing type than really kind of a chopper type deal. So that's kind of something you probably know. And yes, this one, unlike the chopper and the Famine Tanto, this one is also can shave off, which, example, so this one's probably brand new, and yes, that's just showing you what, so if you actually definitely know the sign of that shaving off, that means it's actually sharp, so that's kind of no joke about it. I think my best assumption by that design, that one's kind of bit more of the Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife. But that's kind of what I think about this. So size on the knife is around about 8 inches. 8 inches for the whole blade itself. Handle is around about 5.5 inch, and the overall size would be around about of 14 inches. So let's test this bad boy out. So the results out there is also pretty funny at the same time. So the chop on the first of the water bottle really did, and the funny part about it, it actually stayed and not just knocking off. So might as well do a second strike, and it actually did cut almost through it. Like, that's really good. For the bottle itself, again, it got knocked out, but it did really cut through it pretty well. That's really insane to see in that. The bottle, the really harder plastic in it, I thought that it wouldn't, but it just surprised me. A clean cut from the death dagger. Really crazy to see that. Chopping through it, unfortunately the bottle went missing, but it's almost, actually almost to it, like deep down, and then the other one right there isn't really that deep. Well, I say deep, I mean not really kind of the same scale as it is because of the size itself. But the stab to it, which I've tested, actually did pretty well. Well, I have to directly hit it at the target, so there's one right there, one right here, one right there, one right here to be exact, right here. Strike right there. And a strike right there. A little broken, a little tip chopped off right there. And I think right there. And I decide to finish the job done, and somehow that really did perfectly well. That's a little crazy to see that. But for the jug itself, which I thought it probably would cut through it, but a little disappointed seeing it, but you could probably see how insane it is. Here's a couple pieces fell off for some weird reason. Like, it, look at the hole. There's three holes. Like, three of them right here. Like, it, somehow the pattern is, chopping through it, like, it was not really much of, like, going to, like, chop through everything about it like a sword, but that's really crazy to see it. Another one right here, another line cut right here. Like, the big old piece just took a big chunk of it. A big chunk of it right here. And a chunk right here, which, that's a little crazy to see that. That's, despite the knife is, like, pretty small, that's, really not bad about it. So, yeah, it's mostly for, like, thrusting and stabbing to it, but, you know, that's kind of pretty silly. But if you saw my Survivor kukri knife, which somehow my small brain at that time when I got it, I actually thought that was, like, the death dagger, but now I've got the real one, and, actually could do the more job than that small kukri knife, so that's kind of my fault for not buying it, you know, earlier on. So that was pretty crazy to see it. So I gotta say, I'm giving the same, you know, the K-Bar, I'm giving the K-Bar Zombie Killers Collection Death Dagger an astounding of a 10 out of 10. Really an awesome piece for what it is. And despite of actually, you know, not cutting through the jug perfectly well, it's still a pretty good effective piece. And a thing, just like the Pestilence Chopper, it's a very easy piece to get, despite it being made of SK5 hard carbon steel. That's a pretty insane piece to have. So that wraps up of the K-Bar Zombie Killers Collection Death Dagger. I'm Boy, and I'm signing out. I'll see you guys next time.